What's up guys, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today's actually an exciting one. A while back I was shopping on Sephora's website and I came across the plant-based polishes from the brand Nails Inc. I actually asked you guys in my community tab if you wanted to see me do a review of those or if you wanted to see me do a review of the Sephora mini nail polishes. Since I was making a Sephora order anyway, I figured I should just buy some polishes to review as well. And overwhelmingly you guys were interested in the Nails Inc. polishes. So I bought all 10 of the plant-based ones that are available from Sephora and I decided to review them. So Nails Inc. is a pretty popular mainstream nail polish brand. I have used them before. I've never reviewed them on my channel, but I do think they're a pretty decent brand. But I will say I was really intrigued by the plant-based formula. I know a lot of brands are turning to a plant-based formula and I just wanted to see how this one compared. So the new line from Nails Inc. is called Plant Power. It's a 73% plant-based formula, which is actually, I believe, a little bit lower than the other plant-based formulas I've tried, but they are listed as being 21 free, meaning they are free of 21 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They're also cruelty-free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. They're vegan, meaning they do not use any animal-derived ingredients, and they're also listed as halal friendly. They do also have a recyclable ash wood cap instead of their usual plastic cap, and it is recyclable. But just to step back really quick to the 21 free, I just want to make a quick note on this because I know that the numbers can really vary based on brand, and I have heard from the back end of brands that really the most free you can be is 10 free because there are 10 potentially harmful ingredients that are found in nail polish that you could remove while still having a nail polish formula. And I've heard that any number higher than that, if you look at a list of the ingredients that aren't part of the formula, a lot of times brands will include ingredients that are not actually usually found in nail polish. For example, if they say they're sulfate free or gluten free or acetone free, those are things that are already not in nail polish, but some brands kind of buff their numbers by just adding those in there. That's not to say it's a bad thing because I know there are people obviously who do have sensitivities and allergies to those, but I just want to let you guys know so that you don't need to feel alarmed that there are potentially 11 dangerous ingredients that could be in your nail polish. Generally, if you are using polishes that are big 3 free, you're probably in good shape unless you do have a specific allergy. Then I would keep an eye out for that specific ingredient. So hopefully that clears it up for you guys. I can do a video on that if you're interested, but I just wanted to let you guys know just in case anybody was feeling any sort of alarm that that number is so high. But also, I do want to say I don't specifically know what is different about plant-based formulas, so it might not be the case for this particular brand, but that does tend to be the case with most brands. So I did buy all 10 of the polishes that are available from Sephora's website. They do have a few more colors that are available on the Nails Inc. website, but I personally do prefer to buy from retailers, one because I usually like to get a lot of different brands at once, and I feel like it's just easier to get free shipping, especially if I'm doing a makeup order or something already. But we do have a nice range of colors here. All of the polishes in the Plant Power line are actually cream formulas, so we don't have any shimmers, we don't have any glitters, anything like that, but we do have some nice solid formulas to work with. So I don't want to share too many of my thoughts just yet. I'm going to share that after all of the swatches, but let's just dive right in and check out these polishes, and then I'll talk more about my thoughts, pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the footage. So as always with my swatch and review videos, I am going to be using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today I'm using the Orly base coat. So we'll start off with this first shade, which is called Swear by Salutation. Kind of a weird name. There's actually a few weird names in this collection, but that's okay. We'll just move on. This one is a very bright red, almost jelly-like formula. So it looks a lot deeper in the bottle than it ended up looking on my nails. I did a second coat and it actually ended up being fully opaque on me. It covered up all of my visible nail line, but it didn't end up getting as deep as it looked in the bottle. I still think it's a really pretty classic red shade though, and the formula was super smooth and easy to work with. Next up we have the shade What on Earth, and this is a really beautiful autumnal orange cream. So this was actually the first cream formula that I tried from them since that red ended up being a jelly, and I was absolutely shocked at how opaque and creamy this polish was. As you can see, it was fully a one coater on me. It ended up giving me full coverage, covered up my nail line. There was no patchiness in that first coat, but of course I did end up doing a second coat just to show you guys what that looked like, and I was just really impressed with this one. It was very very smooth, very self-leveling. It was a little bit thicker, but not like uncomfortably thick. It was just opaque thick. Next up, we have the shade Time for a Reset. You can see there's actually a little bit of discoloration on the bottle, but I'm going to explain that a little bit after all of my swatches. But this shade is a really bright, almost neon salmon peachy kind of color. So it's kind of like the summer version of orange since we just did the autumn version of orange. And this is another one that's really pretty. It's super bright on the nails and it's also really opaque. It ended up giving me perfect coverage in 2 coats. And again, it was just super self-leveling. So even though I wasn't applying it absolutely perfectly, it ended up leveling out on the nails super nicely and it was really glossy and pretty. Next up, we have the shade You Okay Hun, and this one is a super light, again, almost neon pink shade, but this one is back to that sort of jelly-like formula. So it's a little bit more sheer. It's got this sort of juiciness to it. I ended up getting really nice coverage in 2 coats and it did fully cover up my visible nail line. As you can see, originally there was like a little tiny bit of patchiness, but I just did another quick brush stroke and it evened out really nicely. These aren't quick drying, but you can always pair them with a quick dry top coat if you want them to speed up their drying, because that's the cool thing about quick dry top coats. They dry the layers underneath as well, but that's totally not related to this review. I just figured I would mention it somewhere. Next up, we have the shade Mani Meditation, and this one is a very light neutral cream shade. So this is sort of a beigey pink color, and I thought it actually ended up looking really nice in terms of the color on my nail. Now, I was almost there in 2 coats, but I felt like there was just a touch of patchiness in some areas. I probably could have gotten away with it if I had done a thicker coat, but I feel like the formula on this one is a little bit thinner than the other creams that I tried, so I ended up doing a 3rd coat and it did look really nice on the nails. You can definitely see a pinky undertone to it, but it ends up working really nicely. I think it would work on any skin tone because I'm very yellow toned and I think it still suited me pretty well, so definitely happy with this one. Next up, we have another neutral shade. This one is called What's Your Spirituality, which is also, I feel like, kind of a strange name, but this one I actually ended up liking a lot more. This is more of a grayish kind of taupe color. It definitely has a gray undertone to it and it feels a lot more cooler weather appropriate for me. I mean, I personally love to just wear my nail polish seasonally, so that's why I always mention it in my videos, but I actually preferred the formula of this one. It ended up giving me really nice coverage in 2 coats. Next, we have the shade Free Time is Me Time, and this is a white cream polish. Now, I always like to judge a brand by its white and black polish. I feel like black nail polish is really easy to get right, and especially to get in 1 coat, but white nail polish is always pretty difficult. So I always like to see how a brand deals with those 2 colors. Now, as far as I'm aware, they don't have a black in this formula, but they do have this white polish, and I feel like it was almost fully opaque in 2 coats. I did need a 3rd coat. I could probably get away with doing 2 coats if it were a base for nail art, which I do sometimes do, but if I wanted to wear it as a full manicure, I think I would absolutely need that 3rd coat, so it doesn't pass the 2 coat test, but it still ended up being pretty decent, so I'm sure I could use it for nail art. Next up, we have the shade Clean to the Core, and this one is a slightly dusty light blue cream shade. Now, based on the other light polishes that I have tried from this brand, I was definitely expecting this one to be on the sheer side, but it ended up being almost full coverage in that 1st coat, and it gave me perfect coverage in the 2nd, so I was really impressed with that. It's a nice, pretty color. I feel like it's got that pastel-y kind of vibe, so you could wear it in the spring, but it also feels like a soft, dusty, wintry color as well. Next up, we have the shade Inner Piece of Me, and this is the color that I think I was the most excited about, and honestly, it's probably my favorite out of the whole collection. This one, as you can see, is a super bright primary blue cream shade. It actually has a little bit more of a crelly-like formula, so it's somewhere between being a cream and a jelly. As you can see, I kind of had a little bit of a wonky brush there, but it ended up applying really smoothly anyway. It pretty much covered my whole nail in that 1st coat, and I really didn't see any visible nail line, but I wanted to get that 2nd coat on just so I can get that full depth of color, and it is just as beautiful as it looks in the bottle, if not more beautiful. I think it is such a pretty bright shade. I love wearing colors like this on my nails. And last but not least, we have the shade Spiritual Gangster. Again, kind of a strange name there, but it's fine. And this one is a navy blue cream shade. Again, it has a little bit of that jelly-like feel to it, so you can see on the first coat it's got a lot of that lighter coloring, and as I build it up you can see that it gets deeper and darker. So this is one of those shades that looks almost black on the nails, and in low light it definitely would look fully black, but you can still see when the light hits it that it's a nice deep blue color. So definitely into this one, it's really pretty. So here are all of the polishes together, and even though we don't have a huge color selection, I'm really pleased with the majority of them. I think we have some nice basics here, and I really enjoyed the formulas. I ended up being really impressed with the opacity on a lot of them. Some of the lighter colors were a bit hit or miss, I think, in terms of being full coverage, but I was able to get all of them in 3 coats. I'm not personally a huge fan of doing 3 coats for polishes that are more expensive than drugstore, but in some cases I do make an exception. The one thing though, I feel like I really didn't connect on most of these names. I know the names don't really matter as much, but I feel like some of these were weird. Am I just, I don't know, being weird? So I feel like some of these I was like, what? I don't know. But overall the polishes are really good. So yeah, those are the polishes, and I have to say overall I was pretty impressed with them. I think that they're nice standard polishes. I'm really happy to see that all of the plant-based formulas that I have tried have really been on par with non-plant-based formulas that I've tried. So I feel like there's definitely this shift going towards more sustainable products, and I really love to see that. Hopefully sometime in the near future all nail polishes will have that plant-based formula, because I know it's just a little bit better, and especially since the polishes themselves seem to perform the same, I think it still works really well. One thing that I have noticed about this brand, and also about my plant-based polishes in general, I noticed that the colors can separate a little bit more quickly, but you can always shake up your polish and it shouldn't be affecting the color inside the bottle. Sometimes you can just like see those lines of color on the outside of the bottle. One thing I did notice about these polishes is they have a different smell than regular nail polish. It wasn't actually a bad smell. I actually enjoyed it. I don't recommend smelling nail polish in general. It's not safe for you, and you should always be painting your nails in a well-ventilated room, but they did have a really good smell to them. They kind of have, like, I don't know how to explain it, because it smelled like nail polish, but it also kind of smelled like it almost smelled like what I think in my head nail polish smells like, and then when I actually smell nail polish I'm like, oh no wait, it smells a little bit worse than I think. But like this smelled like what I imagined nail polish. It was like good smelling nail polish. I'm not doing a great job explaining it. I feel like it's a very unique scent. There's almost like a little bit of this, like, I don't know, sweetness to it. I don't want to say sweetness, that sounds so weird, but it does smell good. Also, the polishes are supposedly long wear. Now, I have not tested these polishes out for wear. That is not something that I do on my channel. As you guys may know, because I've mentioned it in quite a few videos, I actually change my manicure like 2 or 3 times a week. So I never wear polish for long enough to actually tell you guys if it is long wear. I'm definitely not the best judge of that. Generally, what my videos are for are talking about like the formulas, the opacity, the color, that kind of thing. So sorry, I'm not able to give you any information on that, but there are tons of reviews on the Sephora website, and I've seen varying accounts. I think it's really just a lot of trial and error for kind of finding a formula that works for you, that lasts longer on your nails, because some people have brands that they swear will last like 14 days on them, and the same brand might last 2 days on another person, you know? So it's really kind of a trial and error thing anyway. But yeah, my thoughts overall on the polishes is I do think they performed really well. I think they were really opaque. I think that the color selection could hopefully be a little bit more expanded. I do appreciate that they started out with some nice basic colors. I enjoyed the colors that they came up with. I would love to see like different finishes, but I would also like to see more colors. I think they could really expand their color range here. But I do think it's a very promising start, so I'm happy to see them in a mainstream store like Sephora. I think that's really cool. So these polishes come in decently sized bottles. They are actually 14 milliliter bottles, and they retail for $10 USD in Sephora. So I'm gonna link that down below for you guys. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the polishes do come with that recyclable ash wood cap, but you can actually just pop off the wood cap and there is a mini nail polish brush cap underneath. So don't worry about it being difficult to paint with these. They are standard nail polish caps. Although I will say, I do think it's kind of funky that they did that, because the caps underneath the wood caps are still plastic, but I guess there's not really a way around that, so not really sure what the best option would be for that. But yeah, that is my thoughts on these polishes. I want to hear from you guys though. Have you tried these plant power formulas, and what do you think of them? And if you haven't tried them, are you you interested in trying them? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please give this one a thumbs up. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Huge shout out to my Cosmic Admirals on Patreon, Amanda M, Braxton Scott, and Rocket Man's daughter. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Amber Lynn, and Amber Lynn wants to know, if you had to define your style in words that you feel are accurate, what would you call it? I love made-up mashups of words, so go crazy. I actually don't know if I have a word for what my style is. I feel like I'm definitely in the alternative family, and I think there's a lot of like early 2000s influence in how I like to dress and do my makeup and also my hair. So I don't know, like I feel like if people ask me, I would usually say like emo, but what I really feel like I am is the adult friendly version of what I wanted to dress like as a kid. Like I feel like I'm like a mainstream version of alternative, like where I'm kind of just like towing the line, but I'm not like too into it. Like I can still pull back and not look alternative, but I definitely prefer to. And I feel like the reason for that is because I get very nervous about the idea of like diving fully into something. You might be able to tell that by the way that I can never decide what my hair color should be, and that I also don't have any tattoos or piercings because I don't like going all in on things. But I actually do like when I kind of dress on the more alternative, like almost gothy side. I really have a lot of fun wearing those types of clothes. So I have been trying to do a little bit more of that, but I'll always have my kind of more basic pieces and clothes that I'll probably always wear. But that's actually a really interesting question. I guess I haven't spent too much time thinking about it, but if I want to make up a word for it, because Amberlyn loves made up, mashed up words, maybe I should call it, I just thought of this and it's not clever at all, but like a mashup of Kelly and emo would just be Kellimo. So we'll just call it Kellimo. That's what it's fine. That is so bad. Okay. If you guys want to share any interesting words for your personal style, let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.